See what that's like the next time someone speaks with you. Let them finish. Process it. See if they let you speak. They may not.
They may try to fill the silence.
They may.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Joe, DrEnergy Piazza.
RaRa is in the house. Catherine Sarah Myers.
Welcome back to BU Network Podcast, Conversations Worth Having. Welcome back to another Conversations Worth Having. I'm Joe, DrEnergy.
And I am Catherine Sarah Myers. RaRa is in the house tonight with our special guest, Llama.
Llama is with us, indeed. You can't see him, but he's here. He or she? It.
They, them.
They, them. Okay. Llama is they, them. It's official. We're here together in beautiful Niagara-on-the-Lake, here in our production studio, BU production studio, and we thought we would record a little podcast to let you in on a little bit behind the scenes, and we had some thoughts and discussions today around retreats and relationship building and all that kind of stuff.
I love when we can get into it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, between two Sicilians is the
right
here. Anybody that gets in between us.
To get a third chair.
We could fit it.
We could fit another chair in.
Sit right here.
Just move the camera back.
The depth of being together for 24, 48, 72 hours.
Right.
We'll have a 72-hour retreat.
3 days, 4 days, 5 days, whatever.
So we will have 3 days, and that's a tip of the iceberg.
Yep.
So as we have 3 days, as it's nothing,
right.
When our clients have the opportunity to lean into 1, 2, 3 days, realizing that 3 days is not enough.
Right.
What about 4? What about more?
What about 7?
Right. What happens, right? There's the release of the energy.
Right.
There's the relaxation. There's the build-up and anticipation. And then there's, as we call it, like the magic.
Right.
And not to say magic as a magic trick, but you tap into something.
The wisdom, the energy, the golden nuggets.
Right.
That is the magic. Yeah.
The gold.
Thank you, Bob and Betty Ann.
The goldens.
The golden nuggets.
When we feel that, and we feel it with our clients, we know it's coming.
Right. We tap into that. Yeah.
We're setting the stage for that. This is the level of interaction and engagement that we like to work at.
Right.
I'm glad the world is considering catching up to that. And it's no longer
all online.
Like, what are you doing? Why are you going for so long? And like, there's no more about, when will you be home, honey? It's, I'll see you in 3 days.
Yeah, exactly.
Because this is how we really take. We used to call it transformations, right? For us, it's the evolution of creating and producing, and then going back and creating again.
Right.
And it grows. That, to me, this is what we're doing, and I love it.
Yeah, and what you said something really great there in the beginning about getting together over 3 days, 5 days, and the relaxing and the releasing of tension. And that's really important. It's kind of like when you go on vacation. You know how when you go for a week and, after about 2 or 3 days, all of a sudden your body just kind of goes, and you just release everything, and then you really feel like you're on vacation. When we work together over an extended period of time of 2 or 3 days in a row, we have that opportunity to allow that tension to drop and to get deeper. Right? Some of that surface tension, the surface thoughts about, I have to do this for my business, I have to do this, I want to see a video like this or an audio recording like that. All of a sudden that goes away, and we start tapping into why we're actually doing what we're doing and how we're trying to help people be the best version of themselves so that they can connect with their clientele or their ideal client so that they can be the best version of themselves in whatever realm we're working. And that's when we get that deeper stuff. That's where those golden nuggets are buried, and we help bring those out.
I love that you explain it like that. Imagine if you're watching or listening today that you were cast in a movie and you read the script, and you know that.
Who would you want to play you?
Yes, you know that there's some work.
That's not what we're talking about here.
You know there's some work to be done. So
Right.
you're going to perform. You don't know exactly because there's a director, there's a producer. You're not sure what the end result is going to be because there's editing. So you are the star. You do not have to know every single move because you have a team, you have a tribe. So when you walk into, and I'll use that word as if a family, you walk into a room and the production is done for you. You show up the best version, and even if it's not, you somehow get there.
Right.
So when you walk into 3 days or 5 days of something, you don't have to know every little detail. You don't ask the chef, how did you make that? You sit down, you enjoy it.
Right. We
really do all that behind the scenes work. And when I say we too have a village behind us.
Yes.
So
without we certainly couldn't do these production days that we've been doing without our chef.
Without our chef.
Right.
Our crystal healing.
Yep.
Our meditation.
Right.
Our manifestation.
Crystal bowls, all of it.
Our time to recharge and rejuvenate ourselves leading up to, during, pre and post production. Right. It takes days for us.
Absolutely. And one of the fun parts that I like the best about the idea of doing retreats and doing these immersive experiences is the conversations that happen between coaches and the clients, between clients themselves at mealtimes, or just sitting in a hallway, or just sitting on the couch, or having a cup of coffee in the morning. All of a sudden, the synergy of things starting to work, people start bouncing ideas off of each other, and we need to be in person in order to do that. And it gives us the energy to come up with new ideas and say, how can we use that in the production, or how can we incorporate that into what we're producing for you? That's an amazing idea you just had. How can we share that?
So how I hear that is to release and let go of what we used to do before.
Right.
You walk into a space and you're not expecting to take step 1 to step 4. But
right.
Let's say we were going on a sailboat.
Right.
And we said, come on to our yacht. You wouldn't say, what are you going to do next? You'd sort of navigate. You would navigate the water. Right. You'll navigate the temperature.
Getting out of your slip, right? How do you take the ropes off so you can cast off?
And as the guest on the boat, you'll navigate the air, the sun.
Right.
You'll see where you go.
Hopefully not the seasickness.
And even if you brought that would be something we could handle. We'd
right.
question you beforehand. So when you go on a, let's say a ship, a yacht, a boat, a canoe, you go there with the intention of making this a wonderful experience for yourself. And when you step into the BU Network production, you take that adventure with your best intentions and trust. I hear our clients say, I trust you.
Right.
And that is the pathway.
You're in good hands.
To having something produced. Right. Without trust,
right.
How could we?
You couldn't produce anything.
Right. So
at least not anything of really good value.
And we develop that trust. Sometimes we develop it on the spot, and sometimes we develop it over time, and then we navigate in the space in a way that seems effortless. It almost doesn't look like work.
But again, that takes practice and pre-planning and anticipating some of the I guess the best word I could come up with is frictions. Some of the friction that could come up in doing a production like we do, by addressing it ahead of time, we make it a more frictionless experience for our clients. Right? We remove the barriers and the obstacles that where it has the rough edges, that if you bump up against something like, oh, that hurt. We kind of smooth those edges off as much as we can. So even if you do bump up, it's like, oh, it's no big deal.
What did you like about this particular 3-day experience?
I always loved the lunch, going out for lunch, the food in general. I mean, that's just because both of us are very aware of eating well And when I say eating well, I don't just mean a lot. I mean quality food, what we put into ourselves. Because what we eat is not only the food, it's also the experience that we have. We sat down and we do meditation together. We light some Palo Santo and some incense. We play the crystal bowls and do a little meditation. We're not big drinkers, but we sat down and had a martini one night and just to celebrate, just because sometimes it's okay just because to celebrate. So those, because from this, the social connection, I think, if I had to sum it all up, it's the social connection that we create when we have these experiences.
Yes, I agree. I'll sort of answer for myself.
I was going to ask you, what about you?
I like the peace that I get when I go to sleep, and the calm without the tension of what is going to happen. We have it so in our world, so down pat, in the sense that it's like second nature to us. Yeah, you said
it looks easy to somebody watching.
Right. And that peaceful, that restful sleep means so, as much as, of course, the food.
Absolutely.
Because I can wake up rested. Sometimes you have to get up early because you're worried about it. I don't have that sense when we're doing these productions. These productions are sort of, if I say easy, I don't want it to sound like it's
I know what you mean.
Right. There's this peace and calm between what we do and in this space.
Right.
That if I went somewhere to have this done, I would search for that.
Right.
I would look for it.
And that's a great point, because I think that the fact that we create that peace and ease and calm within ourselves, it then projects out, and our clients, I think, pick up on that. And they have commented on that as well, that they feel that calm and that trust, that the whole process felt easy. Like, it didn't feel like work. They were surprised that we weren't, grinding over a video, standing in front of a camera for 3 hours straight, just going over and over and over the same line. That's not how we work. We when you work with us, it's a much more integrative, as somebody recently told us, process where we ask you some questions and then you answer, and then we ask more questions based on what you answered and how you want to share what you have with the world. And so I think that all together creates this bubble, if you will, or an energy of calmness and ease, and we don't get flustered. Even if something goes wrong, we deal with it and we move on. And I think our clients are, whether they're consciously aware of it or not, are feeling that calmness, and it allows them to be more at ease and be more, like you said, let go of all that stuff that they're thinking about and be able to be the best version of themselves.
It's a ripple effect.
Yeah.
So
Exactly. That's a very short, precise way of summarizing my long-winded answer. Yes.
So I want to let you know, if you're watching us today, that we have catastrophes too.
Of course.
And let me tell you about the catastrophe that happened today. Llama jumped off the camera.
Yeah.
Now, without asking us, without warning, Llama just decided they would jump off without ruffling any of our Sicilian feathers. We pick Llama up, we put Llama right back. Now, it sounds like a silly thing. If you get flustered over anything, you might get flustered over everything.
Right.
I invite you to test yourself about little things. If you could effortlessly pick something up, put it back up, and keep going, that would be a good test. So homework for yourself. Find a little thing that happens and see if you could manage that without totally losing it, because it could help you to lose focus. Yeah. I have a little tip.
Go for it.
When we're working, no matter what's going on, I remain focused.
Yes.
If there's a fly, I said fly because we live in the country.
There was a fly. We just had a fly incident as well before we started recording.
So let me tell you about that. The fly was flying around, and I said, "Really?" And about 2 seconds later, I heard it hit something, and it just sort of committed suicide. And so it was gone.
It's now a flu.
So I thought to myself, I'm not going to get flustered. I'm just going to say, really, do you really have to do this right now? Because I need to focus. So when you're in front of someone, if something happens, keep your focus, keep the thing, keep the main thing. So if I'm asked a question, I stay on task. What I mean by that is I stay in the headspace energy zone so that I don't look at a shiny penny and then have to find my way back.
Right.
I stay in it. It feels good. So my tip is if you're doing something, cooking, exercising, cleaning, breathing, meditating, stay with it.
Yeah.
And then see what those benefits are. That's
right.
what I do when we're together.
Yeah, absolutely. I just give a little context about the fly, or I guess it's now a flu. Catherine doesn't like bugs. So guess who got to pick it up and get rid of it? She had a whole piece of Kleenex and everything for me, and I just picked it up with my bare hands, and she couldn't believe it.
What a man.
I just picked it up, and that's whatever. It's a dead fly. The point being that we work together as a team to take care of these little things that come up and take care of it, and we move on. So get yourself a teammate. It can be very helpful.
And whatever your vulnerabilities are, let them be known. Because if you are hiding the thing that you think makes you more or less than, then you're not being you.
Right.
So for Be You, we invite you to put all the cards on the table. Let your...
Even if it's a joker.
Let your ins and your outs be known and work with it. That's how we get to be greater.
Right.
Success does not come without efforts, triumphs, failures.
I saw a good quote. Happened to be this morning at some point. Happened to be on, I don't know, Facebook or Instagram, whatever it was, social media, and somebody had posted a thing about, and they were saying, we don't give ourselves enough credit for changing. And so we have this perception that we're stuck, we're stagnating all the time because we think we're still the same person we were 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 minutes ago, 5 seconds ago, but we're not. We have made incremental changes in our life, which is, I think, what you're speaking to, the being that greater version of yourself. And if we would stop for a moment and just actually look and see how we've changed and give ourselves credit for having made those changes, we would feel a much greater sense of accomplishment, connection, or just feeling good about ourselves and not feel stuck.
And I would like to speak about trust. So when our clients say they trust us, when you're working in an environment, if there's trust, you'll allow someone to get close. You'll allow someone to give you a gentle prompt. You'll allow someone to say, let's keep going.
You'll allow someone to say, hey, it's okay if you adjust my dress, adjust my shirt, my hair, makeup, whatever it is.
And even if you're looking to, let's say everything is done and you're finished and you want to go and relax, and you're thinking, well, I think I'll just put my feet up. But if you're in the zone, when you're in the zone, allow yourself to be led. To be a great leader, it's to be a great student.
Yes.
So as we lead and teach, be open to experiencing and feeling what the other person has to offer. Because if you're always on your agenda, you might miss the conversation or the pause and what the pause can bring.
Right. I remember doing an exercise back in a coaching program that I was part of, and it was called Hidden Agendas. And that if you bring your own agenda to a conversation with somebody, you end up not paying attention to what they're saying and who they're being in the moment, because you're already thinking about how you're going to turn what they're saying into a way that you can sell what you have to sell, or to sell your agenda, whatever it might be. Whereas if we just put our agendas aside for a moment and really connect with the person, then we can hear those pauses and what the pause is all about, and hear what the person is saying and what they're not saying.
Sometimes people are afraid of those pauses. Like, there's quiet, what's going to happen? So, but for us, the reason why I think we wanted to share this tonight is we're in the moment. We want to give live content, relevant content, capture the essence of what we're feeling and doing, and going with it, because it may not be the most convenient thing to do at this moment. It might be easier to put our feet up or to
go have a drink,
to take a stretch on the yoga mat.
Right.
Yet we know that when we're feeling it and we share it, we could transpose that So I invite you, if you're listening today, that if you have a moment, if you have an experience, you could actually get it to live if you record it. So when I won the Gratitude Award, and Lori Del won the Gratitude Award, we relive that moment.
Because we've got it recorded.
People ask us how we met.
Here's the video.
What did we do? And so we get to talk about that moment every time you relive it. Yeah. We talk about being in Salt Lake City together. What happened?
It was an awesome time.
Wasn't it? Yeah. When we talk about it and capture it, it's there. We can always tap into it. So if you have a great experience, well, you can talk to us, call to action. Sure. You can ask us how to capture that moment, and we could give you some tips on how to relive it and maybe how to produce it so that you could share it with the world.
Yeah. I'd like to try an exercise for a moment.
Okay.
We were just talking about pausing and silence, and in our world, and even on social media, it's always a constant, and I love this word, cacophony. Loud, we were talking about this at lunch, about noise, the distractions. There's all this stuff competing for attention. And what would happen if you were just quiet for a moment and allowed yourself to be a magnet rather than being a loud bullhorn walking into a room? How would people respond to you differently? So let's try this. Let's just be quiet for a moment and see how you, our listener or viewer, feels about it. How was that? Did you feel a little uncomfortable maybe? As Catherine said about maybe pushing the edges of your comfort zone a little bit, I invite you to play with staying silent to the point of where you get just a little uncomfortable, and then stay with it for a moment longer. And then start speaking again, or moving or dancing, whatever it might be. And that's how we can push the edges of our comfort zone and create that growth that you were talking about, little bit by little bit.
And after someone speaks, count to 5 before you say something. See what that's like the next time someone speaks with you. Let them finish. Process it. See if they let you speak. They may not.
They may try to fill the silence.
They may get nervous with that. Yeah. And think about the interaction of a real dialogue. Let that be a call to action. Let some of our viewers tell us how that goes.
Yeah, absolutely. Leave in the chat and in the comments under the YouTube video, or send us an email. We actually have on our website a place to leave us a voice message. You could even call us.
What about this? What about the funniest one? We could maybe invite that person to be on our podcast.
That would work.
So respond to this, whether it's a voice message or however you'd like to get with us. Let us know what happens when you have this pause after someone speaks to you. Tell us what happens.
Yeah.
And I won't say funniest, or just let us know. We'll make a choice. We'll make some...
Maybe more than one. We'll see.
We'll make some choices. And we'll invite you on our podcast. And we'll talk about the pause and what it does. We had a podcast once with Don on, and he talked about the pause.
Yes, the day of pause.
It's like May something a couple of years ago,
yeah.
like 27.
During the times.
Right,
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, so on that note.
That's all we got for you tonight.
RaRa's in the house.
Ciao, babies.
Thank you for joining us. Sharing is caring. Tell your friends about conversations worth having on BU Network. We really appreciate your reviews, and you can do that on Apple Podcasts. Thank you.
For show notes and links, go to www.b-u.network/podcasts. Connect with us via our website, www.b-u.network.
We're looking forward to hearing from you, and thank you for being with us. Ciao.
Ciao, babies.